Now then, Stacey, I'm glad to
hopefully.
see you've made a bit of an effort for us today.
Charming.
You're actually wearing proper clothes.
Only because they make me.
So tell us what happened.
Nothing really happened. I always wear my... You know what I'm like? Nanny Linda, you're the same.
Yeah.
If I'm in a rush in the morning, I'll just keep my pyjamas on, jump in the car, chuck the kids in and take them to school. But there was a few people who found it very offensive.
Why?
I don't know.
It's all about comfort, isn't it?
But also, they're just clothes.
Yeah.
Like, why is this jumper any different to, like, a pyjama jumper? I know, I don't get it. I just think, first of all, I don't get out of the car. They're not, like, babies, so I sort of just go, off you go, and they run into school. So no one really sees it. And I don't know, I think there's something about embarrassing. If it does embarrass my kids, they don't mention it. They don't say they're embarrassed. But if it does, there's a part of me that almost feels proud.
So is that what people were saying? That it was embarrassing for
They
your
were saying
kids?
it's not fair on your children. It's so embarrassing for them. But who doesn't embarrass their children from time to time? Isn't that what parents are supposed to do?
It's such a weird thing, isn't it, that you go up to somebody and comment on what they're doing. Have you ever had that, Paris?
I have. I've had it a few times. Obviously, with the herd of children I've got, I always get somebody sort of looking. But normally they're well behaved. But I remember this one time we went to London. It was our first big trip to London. We all took the train. So it was me, Tyson, the 5 kids. And we had two prams, the 2 kids walking. So we went on the train, got down to London. That was great. That trip was OK. Then on the return, we got told to sit in a certain area because we had so much, like, luggage and prams. They said, sit in this certain place. As soon as we walked on the train, there was an elderly lady and she was sat right next to us. And as soon as the train starts going, she starts to stare, she starts to tut, she starts giving them dirty looks. And this went on for like the full 2 hours. So just before we got to where we was going, I was really boiling inside. I thought, you keep looking at my kids, you keep tutting at my kids. And then I looked at her and I went, your distaste in my children is very obvious. I thought I'd really swum the channel to say that to this lady. And she went, I'm not bothered, I've had this, I'm sick of children, I don't want to hear about your children, I don't want to see your children, why are they on this train? And I was like, oh dear, I've opened a can of worms. But I felt better for saying something to her because there was no need. The kids was being good. They actually this time were sitting on their iPads, they was playing with the crayons. But yeah, she basically full shamed us. She really thought it was terrible that we was there.
And was Tyson with you?
Tyson was with me. He said, why did you even say anything? But I said, you wasn't saying nothing, was you? You wasn't defending our kids with her gun.
Yeah, who's the real fighter in this family?
I was the one who grew up.
What about you, Linda?
Well, I did embarrass my kids quite a lot. Not other mums, it was my children, really. So I used to get up in the morning, leave my nightdress on, commando, put my coat on.
Oh, my word.
But it was a long nightdress, put my coat on over it, take the kids to school. That was fine. So I was never allowed to pull up outside the school. In case anyone saw me, I'd have to pull up the road, let them get out. And then on the way back, I'd stop and get bagels in a little deli just up the road from there. And then a few times the kids go, oh, my God, you're so embarrassing. My friend saw you getting out to get bagels in your nightdress and whatever. And one time I had a flat tyre coming back in my nightdress and my coat, and I saw 2 policemen, so I pulled over. I went, excuse me. I said, do you know where I can pump my tyre up? They went, pump it up. You need a new tyre, love. So I then had to go to the petrol station in my nightdress and dressing coat over it, pump up the tyre and then go home.
I think they're lucky to get a lift.
Yeah.
But do you then go home and go to bed again?
No,
no.
Come home,
So
have
why
my
not just
bath.
get dressed?
Because sometimes you're in such a hurry, you just think, right, get in the car. And also, I don't know if anyone else feels like this, once I get dressed, that means my day has officially started. So sometimes I like to just long it out a little bit and stay in my pyjamas so I feel like I don't have to get right into it straight away. I don't
have that
know.
extra coffee, can't you?
And at one time I had 3 drop-offs as well. So, like, to get ready before I dropped off 3 kids to school. Was
Yeah.
Like, no.
But
You still favour a bit of leisure wear, don't you, Stacey? Show us your feet.
Oh. These are my shoes for the day. You didn't tell me you were going to do that.
Nice. I'm getting a pair of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what? No one sees the bottom half.
Unless someone mentions
Unless
it.
Jane calls you out. But also, I think, do you know what, kids? You're lucky that I'm taking you to school. They're both old enough to walk, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're getting a lift, you can deal with the pyjamas.
Paris, have you ever done the school run in your Jimmy Jams?
I try not to because I've only done it like 3 or 4 times, and when I have done it, twice I got caught out. One time I conked of diesel was on the side of the road and had to wait for like ages before anyone comes. So I was just sat with the duffel coat on and the pyjama bottoms and just wanted to hide. And the second time, on the way there, I was calling the doctors. Then they said, right, if you come now, you can bring the baby in straight away. So I flew down to the doctors in my pyjamas. Then they said, go to the next doctors, flew down there. Then they said, go to the next chemist. So I ended up at like 2 o'clock in the day, running in and out of chemists in my pyjamas. So it doesn't work for me. I just get dressed now. I just try and get up and do.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I'm kind of... I've never gone out the house. I'm always like, I get dressed because then I don't feel
I can't imagine
ready
ever
to
seeing,
start my day.
Ever
always
seen you out in your
immaculate, aren't
PJs.
You're always
My mum's
immaculate.
like that. She's up first thing in the morning. She's always dressed.
Yeah.
Done. I ain't that kind of process. If I'm in the house, I'm usually in pyjamas. But if I'm out and about, I try and get dressed.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's just that because I mostly work from home when I'm not here, obviously, then I don't feel my brain is in work mode unless I'm dressed.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
But the shaming thing is weird, isn't it? So we did a poll. Have you ever been publicly mum-shamed? No, 72%. Yes, 28%. So that's like, that's a quarter of mums have had somebody...
A lot.
I think
that's
loads
quite
of
a lot,
people
isn't
do
it?
I think sometimes it's quite passive-aggressive as well, isn't it? Like, almost like, oh, have they still got a dummy? Or, oh, still in a pram?
Yeah.
And they say it with a smile, but you know they're thinking, what the hell? And you're like, you're shaming me in broad daylight.
And we've
Just
had
'cause you're
loads
smiling doesn't
of
make it
comments.
better.
Denise, when my son was 2, we were waiting for the bus in the pouring rain. He was getting restless. This woman told me I need to train him to behave.
Oh, my God.
I turned to her and said, he isn't a dog.
Train him like he's a dog.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's exactly what she said. And then Marie, I always try to support. No one is given a handbook on how to raise a child. Yes, very good point, Marie. And Rachel, I asked her mum how old her son was because he was walking and my son wasn't. Her son was a bit older. I said, that's amazing. I wish my son was walking. She gave me the dirtiest look as if it was my fault that he wasn't
It's
walking.
so funny, isn't it? Because I think, especially in the newborn stages, there's so much pressure on babies to be hitting certain milestones.
Yeah, exactly.
And even without realising, subliminally, people pass judgment. I don't think they mean to, but they'll say, oh, is he not walking yet? Or what can he say? Or what can he do? And there's a lot of pressure at that age, I think. Whereas some kids, for so many different reasons, just start stuff later.
Yeah.
It's not...
So there you go. Even if you think it, don't say it.